In India, in judicial system, a lot of role is canvassed and played by lawyers. Advocates who start practice from day one and reach to a level of expertise. Now at this point of time, the advocates under the Advocates Act are designated by High Court and by Supreme Court. Now those advocates, they after having expertise in their field, they are being designated and thereafter they argue or rather advance arguments on those cases for which they are engaged. But the things does not end up and the judicial system may not be an end of by that practice. What is required today is the starting of the judicial work or advocate's role actually starts from the lower level. Now India being a country where the entire system starts from village level, where many of them may not be having so much of literacy. Literacy relating to law is an essential thing. Now those have to be propagated through lawyers only, and for that purpose we are now starting for a phase where we can have and develop a concept relating to Jyeshtha Adhivakta. Now Jyeshtha Adhivakta could be assigned a particular honor those who have practiced for 25 years. Why 25 years year mark has been put is that by that time they start from day one, that's a bad phase and a good phase, and by 25 years they attain and achieve various things which can be of much help for the litigants. Litigants are surely they are required to have a good lawyer for good advice and they must have an expertise. Now how the lawyers who have attained 25 years and still did not opt or did not go for being designated by a High Court or Supreme Court, but that does not mean they cease to have expertise in various fields of law. For that purpose, many of our lawyer friends have developed a concept which is rather developed by a concept of Jyeshtha Adhivakta, and Jyeshtha Adhivaktas, those rather advocates who could be chosen from the lot of lawyers who either work in the criminal side in the trial courts, that is at the up to district level, and then on the civil side same kind of trial before the civil courts or before or up to the district court level. Now having this kind of practice and experience in the trial stage that involves actual practice of law, being leading evidence, cross examinations, putting documents on record, which normally is not found at the higher level except for a few high courts, those who have original side or the trial side. Now when these things are very essential, because that is the ultimately things which are seen or analyzed at the stage of High Court or Supreme Court, is the documents and the evidence. For that we have to find out a method by which at least every person can get advantage out of it. The 25 years year mark for those advocates who have practiced up to 25 years either on civil side or on criminal side are required to be recognized, and at least they have to be selected. Selected for what? That is, all of them cannot be given a kind of honor which may ultimately lead to that everybody is a Jyeshtha Adhivakta. Now Jyeshtha Adhivakta for a particular purpose or a particular kind of development or his contribution on the legal system can be achieved by two methods. One, either a person should have a knowledge and a platform to show his knowledge. So that may not be a criterion, that cannot be a case over here. So ultimately, Jyeshtha Adhivaktas can be selected by a district judge or by following a procedure which can be discussed in the second kind of system which can be brought up. That selection has to be done. But for the timing, what we are discussing is that the Jyeshtha Adhivaktas can be selected from a group of lawyers, those who have practiced for 25 years up to district court practice, or that's called the trial stage. Trial stage necessitates the experience and the expertise in that, and they will have to show their credence or the achievement or their year of practice starting from panchayat level, the legal advice which they might propagate, they give it to their clients, and ultimately when they achieve those achievements of giving advice, practicing on the law, regular practice relating to law and facts up to the trial stage, then from those advocates it can be seen that those advocates which really need appreciation, which appreciation can be culled out firstly by arranging a kind of honor which can be arranged through the Chief Justice of particular High Court, which ultimately supervise and control all district courts or the district level up to district level courts. Naturally, they will have a benefit out of selecting those either through the district judge or through the collector or the revenue court which work at the level of the particular district on the revenue side. So, they can be also selected from the revenue side, looking into their expertise and the achievement and the year of practice which they hold, and comparing it with their quality of work. The quality of work has necessarily a relevance for giving an honor to the advocates who could be designated as just adhivakta. Just adhivakta who can be recognized and given honor by this process, which can ultimately build up a strength and a confidence among the litigants that at least look here, they are the advocates who can really appreciate the things under the law and the fact, and they can give advice relating to that. Now coming to a stage that there may be a partiality. See, there is a system in India that may not be any particular field which may not be suffering from that kind of. But be that as it may, what we can do is a district judge or a collector on the revenue side, they normally have a regularly watching their achievement, their art of cross-examination, their presentation, and of course their conduct and behavior with the judges, with the clients, with the oppositions. So, all these things have to be taken into account, and looking into those aspects, the just adhivaktas can be given some kind of honor which would ultimately be selected or put in the panel or on such panel which can be taken into account for the purposes of taking them or adopting them or appointing them as judges. Judges today are being appointed at the district level by examinations and the interview. Now, all those proceedings are all right, that is fair enough, but there are also a selection process for the High Court where the advocates are selected from directly advocates. Now, it is at this point of time even the just adhivaktas can have a edge over the advocates, but that does not mean that any preference or privilege can be granted to them. What is essentially to be seen is that just adhivaktas are the group of lawyers who have achieved a particular year of practice by doing their practice at the trial stage, and definitely they attain expertise in those fields. Having achieved expertise, now they can be one of the best judges who can be advancing justice at the High Court level. Now coming to the even selection process at the district level, though now invariably in all states, I think that is now by way of written examination and interviews. But while considering those aspects as well, even for taking the advocates for higher judicial services, those criteria can be at least fixed, looking into that whether an advocate who has ultimately crossed that particular year, irrespective of the period, irrespective of the year or age, that can also be made use of. Now, if those things are applied collectively, that can give a better prospect, and that can bring at least expertise of the lower level, which ultimately, or that is the field which is normally not taken care of. It's not that those are neglected, but at least those concepts or the lawyers who come forward may not be easily available, or may not be their criteria or their the quality of work may not be analyzed directly, but this can be a concept by which even their candidature can be analyzed. So, under these heads, if the Jyeshtha Adhivaktas can be analyzed, they can be of much help to the society, at least at the lower level, which definitely has the greatest role in the judicial system. As I have earlier said on my earlier part, that it is those advocates who try their best to cull out the best evidence, best of the documents, and ultimately they only bring those things on the record. So, if at all, if those records are very material for particular just decision in a case, that has to be brought properly. And if this kind of appreciation is provided to Jyeshtha Adhivaktas, then naturally their competition among the lawyers would be of greater strength. Not only this, they won't be just working for the money, they will also go for a quality work, and they would be also having in their mind that if the quality of the works is recognized, they would be also achieving something. So, under these circumstances, if the concept of Jyeshtha Adhivaktas are inculcated, brought into force, or put to a platform, that can be of very help. So, in the next time we can have how we can go for putting selection and all those processes.
Thanks.
Thank you.